Hi, besties. It's been a minute since I've been on here with the mic. Like, I think the last time I filmed with this mic was the beginning of 2024, and now it's the beginning of 2025. But Happy New Year's, besties. What's your New Year's resolution? I have a few of my own. Have I been like actively working on it? No, but it's okay. My New Year's will begin February 1st, okay? Today, I want to do a little sit down video and answer the questions y'all sent in on my Instagram. Because I have now been working as a pediatric ICU nurse for the last 6 months. Just letting y'all know how it's been, because it's been very interesting. Let's just get into the questions, shall we? Let's start with how was the NCLEX? I haven't been able to actually sit down and do like a formal video of like how I studied for the NCLEX and what that process looked like. And that's completely on me because now it's been like well over 7 months since I've taken the NCLEX. But the NCLEX for me, I was really nervous. I was really scared and I was going to poop my pants. I'm not even gonna lie. I studied though for 3 weeks. I used the Mark K lectures and I used Archer. And those two, chef's kiss. I would say 3 weeks I feel like was a perfect amount of time for me and how I study and how I comprehend information. I feel like 3 weeks was enough. And actually, when I was coming up to that third week, I was kind of over it. And I was like, I kind of just want to take the exam right now. And I would definitely say that third week, I was kind of like slacking with the studying. I wasn't really like on my Zoom, though I was like the first 2 weeks. But I would say though, like, I would say nursing school though, like, really scares you when it comes to the NCLEX. But when I like actually took it, it really wasn't that bad. Like, it really wasn't that bad. Like, I promise you, they want you to pass, and like, it's not a bad thing if you get more than 85 questions. Like, the fact that you are getting more questions is actually a good sign because I would rather get more questions than it shut off at 85 and I did like terrible. You know what I mean? So I don't think it was that bad, to be honest. And like, if you graduate nursing school, you are smart enough to pass the NCLEX. I would definitely say Archer was literally the best thing I ever invested in because I remember taking the NCLEX and some of the Archer review questions and like scenarios that I studied in Archer showed up on my exam. Like, same disease process, same pharmacology meds. I was like, yeah, that's insane. Like, it literally showed up on my exam. And it was not the first time I saw it because I studied the rationales and everything on Archer. So I would say, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard was the NCLEX? I would say 6.5, like average. If you go in there like an anxious mess, the chances of you passing the first time may be low. Like, just be calm, pray, talk to your family, talk to your friends, like, get all the nerves out because if you go in there anxious and scared, it's going to get to you and it's going to show up in the way that you perform when you answer the questions. Like, I promise you. I mean, not going to lie, like, I was really nervous and I was anxious. Like, I mean, this exam is what I've been preparing for all throughout nursing school. But like, if you just take a deep breath, remind yourself that you know this, you'll be fine. You'll be straight. The next question is, did you already have your job waiting for you when you graduated? I did. I did have my job waiting for you when I graduated. One thing about nursing that is really nice is that a lot of hospitals are doing like new grad nurse residencies. They open applications before the graduation date. So most people in my cohort that I graduated with like already had a job set up before graduation. I graduated last year in May and I think I had my job like all set up ready to go by March, but I was applying by February and interviewing. And then I had the job like set by like mid March, which is like really, really nice because it's like you finish school, you already know where you're going, what unit you're going to work on. So I highly recommend doing it early. Some people like don't apply for jobs like during that like span of time and they like wait until they graduate and do the NCLEX and then apply for the later new grad residencies that open up like later on in like September, which is like completely fine. Like, that's a preference. It depends honestly if you want to like work right away after school. In my case, I wanted to work right away because baby, I was broke. I wanted to get that nurse money as soon as possible. Thank you very much. But some people wait, and like that's completely fine. That's completely up to you. Like I said, lots of hospitals have new grad residencies and they're open like multiple times in the year, depending on when you graduate or depending on when you want to even like apply in general. So yes, I did have a job set up for me, which was a blessing. But yeah, it's really up to you if you want to go that route. Or if you want to like wait until after the NCLEX and everything. What are the most essential things you take to work? So I be seeing people like on TikTok, like new grad nurses and stuff, and they're like, "What's in my work bag?" And they have like all these fancy schmancy things. And to be honest, it's really not that serious. It's really not. I do have that little case that has like my stethoscope and my pen light and my shears, blah blah blah, but I literally keep that in the locker at my job. Like I don't carry that with me in my backpack. The only things that I have in my backpack is literally my new grad nurse residency binder, which is what I have to have on me with my preceptor every single shift. I have a little mini notebook just to take notes throughout the shift if I see a new medication, or if like I'm sitting down with my preceptor and they're like actively teaching me something, I'm able to like write it down. I have a pen pouch, like a pouch that just has a bunch of pens in it. I have my badge, obviously in my backpack. And then I just have like a little pouch of like girly essentials. Like I have a mini deodorant, tampons, pads, ibuprofen. And that's literally it. That's all I keep in my nurse bag. Oh, and my water bottle, obviously. I don't even carry those foldable clipboards. Like, you honestly don't really need one. Like, it's your preference if you want one. I know, like, a lot of friends in nursing school of mine, like, had the foldable clipboard, but technically, I don't use it. You don't need to have it. Some people also have, like, report sheets that they, like, printed out. Like, they have a report sheet template. I just use a blank piece of paper. And I work in the ICU. So, like, you don't need a template, but whatever like works for your brain, just do what works best for you, to be honest. But that's basically all that I keep in my nurse bag. It's really not that special, and that's like based on preference, because personally I do not want to be like carrying like a ton of things in my bag to work, to be honest. And like even my new grad nurse binder, I sometimes just keep that in my locker, and the only thing that I have in my backpack is like my pens, my water bottle, maybe my Kindle. But most times if I bring my Kindle to work, I don't even have time to touch it. So that's that. The next question is, what shoes are the most comfortable? This is also based on preference. Personally though, I wear the Clifton 9. Is it the Clifton 9s? Hokas. I'll just put them on the screen because they're downstairs in my garage. I'm not going to grab them, and they're actually disgusting. Like I have to wash them. But I personally love Hokas. Like rarely do I ever come home from a shift and my feet hurt. The only time that my feet hurt, I would say, is if I forget to wear my compression socks, and I highly recommend compression socks for those 12-hour shifts, because baby, you're gonna need them. And you know, we don't want those varicose veins. Okay. A lot of people also wear like On Clouds. A lot of people wear like Brooks. It really just depends on your preference. I've been loving the Hokas. Most nurses that I know wear Hokas. I would definitely say though, like the first few times wearing them, they were a little bit uncomfortable, like to break into. But once you break into them, it's like you're walking on a cloud, literally. I am also interested in PICU. How did you land a job, and what was the process? So pretty much before I graduated nursing school, the local hospital in my city, they had this position called professional student nurse, basically a nurse extern position. And I knew that I wanted to do pediatrics. But before going into pediatrics, I had worked as a nurse extern in an adult ER, kind of just to get my feet wet, kind of to just honestly put something on my resume, because like I had no previous hospital experience whatsoever. Like I was a barista for like 3 years, and then I worked in retail and I worked at a daycare. So like I needed to just get my feet wet and like get some type of hospital experience. So at the time I was like, you know what? I don't really want to work with adults, but because I need something on my resume, I'll just take this job. So I did that for a few months, and then I had my pediatric clinical at the specific hospital that I was interested in. And then from there, I just stalked the hospital jobs at that pediatric hospital. I saw that they had a position open for one of the pediatric med-surg floors. I applied. I made sure to put on my resume that I did my clinical at that hospital so that they knew that I, what is it called? Oh, so that they knew that I was familiar with the hospital and like their values and how they work and like yada, yada, yada. So I did that. I got an interview, did the interview, got the job, and pretty much that is what basically helped me land a job in the PICU because I'm at the same hospital and I just switched to the PICU floor. So I would highly recommend doing that, working as a tech, as a nurse extern in the hospital, and specialty that you're looking into will give you an upper hand compared to other people who like have no hospital experience or have no experience in the specific specialty that they would like to be in. That's the advice that I would give you, is to apply, become a tech, become a nurse extern in the specialty and hospital that you would like. Even if right off the bat you don't get into the specialty that you want or hospital that you want as a tech or as a nurse extern, it looks really good on a resume that you have some patient care background. Do you have a lot of control of your schedule as a new grad RN? This is based on the hospital, based on the unit, based on your educators, your managers, their flexibility, and like how they do their stuff. But personally, for me, I wouldn't say I have that much flexibility because my schedule is based on my preceptor schedule. When my preceptor is working, I'm working. There's days though, like my preceptor will like pick up extra shifts. I wouldn't be put on for those days because as a new grad, I'm not allowed to work overtime. So I would do my 3 shifts a week with my preceptor and like that's it. My educator though would allow us to like put in like days that we need like off before the scheduling period, but as soon as like I'm off of orientation, I'll be able to self schedule. I'll be able to choose the days that I work and then like submit that to my managers, and then like they go from there depending on the needs that they have. As of right now, I'm still in orientation, so I have not been able to like self schedule as of yet, but it has been really nice being able to like let them know the days that I need off. Were the nurses nice to you as a new grad? I I would say on my unit, they were nice. Not me hesitating. No, like truly they were nice to me. They would come and introduce themselves to me, which was really nice and I really appreciated that. But obviously there's going to be a handful of nurses that may not be so nice to you. And it may not happen right off the bat. It may be like a little bit more into orientation, especially like if you work there more and like you kind of like end up figuring out the set of nurses that like you can go and ask questions to without them making you feel like you're stupid. How do you like the PICU? This is a loaded question. It's a very loaded question. Because if you had asked me this question 1 month into orientation, I would tell you that I'm obsessed. I'm in love. Don't want to be anywhere else but the PICU. But now that I'm like 6 months into orientation, I've had some really hard days, some really hard shifts. I've had some really tough assignments. I've had kids dying on me. So I don't know. It's just I'm just trying to be realistic because I feel like a lot of new grads like fall on that end of the spectrum when they're like, I'm obsessed with my job, it's literally perfect, and like I get it, and it can also be part of the excitement of like, you know, like being in your dream specialty and everything, and I totally understand because I did feel that way at one point. And I'll definitely still say that the PICU challenges me every time I'm there. I learn something new every time I'm there. I love the kids with all my heart. Like I love the kids so much, and that's ultimately what drives me and is ultimately my passion as to why I'm in the PICU. But I would definitely say like sometimes it can be really really hard, and very, very humbling on how I feel about myself as a nurse. But the PICU though is a great place, I believe, for new grads to start. Like you learn like a lot. You learn so much, but at the same time it is very stressful. It is very anxiety inducing, and I just feel like if you don't have that type of like personality, like you enjoy the adrenaline, maybe ICU may not be for you, to be honest. But I would say like I like it, but there's days where it's just really hard and I second guess. Someone asked me, how's my mental health? Girl. Girl. To be honest, my mental health has not been the greatest. I just think the transition to like being in school full time and now like working, it's very different. And I don't know, it's just like that post grad feeling. It's like, it's just different. Like, I don't have that set structured schedule that school offers me. I don't have assignments. I don't have projects. I don't have clinicals. So it's like the free time that I have, it's like really up to me with what I do with that free time. And like, now I'm just working 12-hour shifts 3 times a week. And like, I don't know, it just takes some time to adjust to because I feel like, bro, my whole life I was in school. Now I'm not in school and now I have a career and now I'm working. Like it's just different. And oftentimes too, I feel like it's easy to like kind of get lonely. It's easy to like, especially when you're a new grad nurse working at a hospital and like you have really hard shifts. It's sometimes hard to come home and like you feel like you can't open up to people because they don't fully understand what it's like. They don't fully understand how it is working 12-hour shifts in a hospital with really, really sick kids and feeling incompetent all at the same time. Like it's hard to explain. It's hard for people to really feel what I'm feeling. But I would definitely say like I was hired with a group of other new grads in my cohort, and it's nice like being able to open up to one another and like knowing that I'm not the only one feeling this way. And there's definitely a point in orientation too where it's like you're getting punched left and right and you're just in the thick of it and the growing pains. And I feel like I'm kind of still in it. But I feel like it was a lot worse at one point. So I would just say like my mental health is like I'm kind of just cruising. I'm kind of just going with the flow, going with the motions at this point. Trying to stay above water. that's that's the best I can explain it right now. Like I'm really just trying to like you know, not drown. That sounds so bad, guys. I promise I'm fine. Like I promise I'm fine. It's just some days are harder. Some days are harder than others, and like nursing school is hard. Don't get me wrong, but being a new grad nurse is a different type of hard that I feel like there's no way to prepare for it. To be honest, so yeah, that's how I feel. This question is related to mental health. It's how strongly. Wait, whoa. How strong mentally must you be for this job? I'm too empathetic and will cry a lot. I don't know because I would say I'm also a very sensitive, emotional person as well. And this job is hard. Like I said, like I've seen death already throughout my orientation. Um, I think though it's good to be emotional. It's good to be sensitive. It's good to feel all the feelings. It's actually like I would be scared if like there's a nurse who has a patient that died and they completely sweep it under the rug like nothing happened. Like those nurses, I'm scared of them. I don't think there's particularly like how strong you can be mentally to work as a nurse in general. Like I don't know, I feel like you cannot be mentally prepared for this job. Like you can't be. And you could be the most strong mentally whoa, I can't speak. You could be the most strongest person mentally and this job can still break you down because it's real life and it's sad. Like, it's really sad. The way that people process death is different depending on the person. Um, but I feel like it's completely normal to break down. It's completely normal to cry. It's actually good to cry. Um, if you become hardened to death, I'm scared for you. Like, I'm actually scared for you. So, and I feel like if I were to ever get to that point where it doesn't faze me anymore, I think I would have to quit my job because that just goes to show that, like, I'm so numb to it that mentally I'm not good anymore. Like, I'm not sane. I'm not a human being anymore. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that answered the question, but it's like, I don't think there's a certain mental capacity that you can be prepared for such things. Like, there isn't. But all I can say is that everyone processes death differently. And if you process that by crying, that's okay. Do you see yourself staying in this position or moving somewhere else? As of right now, I don't know. I can't really answer like where I'm going to go and how long I'm going to stay. Like, it's kind of like all up in the air. Like, as of right now, I know that like this is a job that I had right now and I'm a new grad too. So it's like, I don't know if I see myself though being in the PICU forever. Obviously, I don't even see myself being in bedside forever, to be honest. But as of right now, I see myself being working in pediatrics in general. Maybe is that PICU for a long time, or maybe another pediatric floor or a pediatric clinic. I don't know. But as of right now, I'm a PICU nurse, so I'm going to be in the PICU for now. But I do know that no matter where I go, I want to stay in pediatrics. So, yeah. Did you feel like you didn't know anything starting as a new grad? Yeah, bruh. I still feel this way too. Like, I would leave a shift, clock out, and be like, today drained me. Like, I'm severely humbled. Severely humbled. And I mean, I would definitely say like I know a lot more now than I did like my first week of working, obviously. But it's like, you can never know everything. So it's like, and also depends on how hard you are on yourself. And I would definitely say I'm someone who is very, very hard on myself. Um, I felt like I knew absolutely nothing. And there's times I go to work still and I feel like I know nothing, especially like if you take like a few days off. Like, when I went to Boston and everything and I came back, I was like, oh my gosh, do I even remember how to be a nurse? Like, I don't remember anything. I feel like I know nothing. And like, there's just times I feel stupid, and I still have those moments a lot of the time. That's a normal way to feel as a new grad, because I would definitely say that nursing school does not prepare you to be an actual nurse. It just prepares you to take the NCLEX, as we all know. Someone said, how do you like it so far? Are you looking forward to being a nurse practitioner? I kind of already explained like how I like the PICU so far and like how that's been, and looking forward to being a nurse practitioner. I've always told myself that I want to go back to school and like become a nurse practitioner. And if that were to be the case, I would want to go like the primary care route in pediatrics. As of right now though, I still have like a lot of experience to gain before I start like applying to NP programs and like thinking about that right now. Um and although like I've always told myself that I wanted to do that, I've kind of just like left it up to God and like just left that desire to him, and like in God's timing it will happen. Just keeping my options open, to be honest. And I would one day like to go back to school. I don't know as of when. I don't know. It's just kind of like up in the air right now. I know it is something that I want to do eventually. I just don't know when. Someone asked me how I study the Bible, which is so sweet. I've kind of been struggling with reading my Bible consistently. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, but the one ways that I do study my Bible is I use Enduring Word, which is an app, a Bible commentary app, and it literally breaks down every single verse in the Bible. And I read the Bible and I read the commentary, and then I basically take notes from the commentary into my Bible itself or in a separate journal. And it just kind of helps me like understand what's going on. It helps me understand like the history. It helps me understand like even the Greek and the Hebrew meaning. Like it helps so much. I also have like a little flashcard of like that's color coded. So like based on my highlighting, I have like a blue highlighter for God's promises. I have a yellow highlighter for God's character. So when I go back and like read my Bible, I can see like what I highlighted and like how it correlates to my color code sheet, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's personally how I study the Bible. And then like obviously afterwards, like I pray about what I read and apply it as best as I can to my life. I feel like I've talked about Enduring Word before on this channel, but I highly recommend Enduring Word. It's free in the App Store. Yeah, definitely download it. How did you decide on PICU, and was it your first choice? It actually was not my first choice, which is kind of crazy. Um, I feel like the only thing I was sure about it was pediatrics. When it comes to the floor, I really didn't know because, like I said previously, I was a nurse extern on a pediatric med surge floor, and so I was like really trying to figure out like, do I want to stay on this unit? Do I want to go to pediatric cardiology? Do I want to go to the pediatric ICU? Do I want to go to the pediatric IMU? It was kind of like all up in the air. And it kind of got to the point where I just told the recruiter, like, bro, just send my resume to every unit. I don't care anymore. If I get an interview, I'll sit down for the interview and I'll see what happens. So basically, I did that. And out of the offers that I received, I basically chose PICU because I had realized it gives me the opportunity to see the most variety of cases while still being in critical care. And I just felt like as a new grad, I'm going to learn so much on that unit. And I knew that I had been on this specific unit before during my clinical rotations and I enjoyed it. So that's basically how I ended up in the PICU. Because if I went pediatric cardiology, it's very specialized. I don't think I would be able to know as much as I do now about different disease processes that the PICU like allows me to like see. How is work life different from school? Is it better? That's a good question. Kind of like what I said about like this kind of pertains to what I said when I answered the question about my mental health. It's different, and I would say it is better. It is better because nursing school, there's just so much stress pertaining to nursing school, and I feel like they make nursing school harder than it needs to be honest, for them to not even really teach you how to be an actual nurse. So it's just unnecessary. But I would say it's better because like I said, like I have more free time, so that's allowed me to be able to do more of my hobbies. And like, girl, I'll tell you right now, like all throughout nursing school, I did not step into an airport ever. The first time I got onto a plane was this past September. And I had already finished nursing school and I was already a new grad on orientation. And I was finally able to have the time and freedom to get on an airplane and travel. And like, that's so nice. Like, I'm able to travel. I'm able to go to new places. I'm able to, hang out with friends now and read books and make YouTube videos, edit my YouTube videos. Like, so I would definitely say it is better because it's given me the time to be able to like do things that I enjoy. And nursing school did not give me that time. And I would say like every single day in nursing school, I was just stressed and depressed, to be honest. But I would say it's better. But also because I have so much time, sometimes it feels like I don't know what to do with it. And it's also easy to kind of get bored, and it's easy to like I said, get lonely because as a nurse, like you have random days of the week off. And if you have friends that are like that work like corporate jobs and they're like a regular 9 to 5 schedule Monday through Friday, it's like, kind of hard to like make plans with them if you're working weekend night shift and then you're off Monday through Thursday and then your friends are working Monday through Friday. As a nurse, like your work life just is completely different from everyone else's, I would definitely say, but I would gladly prefer to be working than being in school. How has the learning curve been as a new grad? The learning curve has been steep. It's been very steep, very steep. Yeah, that's how I would explain the learning curve as a new grad. I heard new grads are most prone to burnout. What have you been doing to prevent that? I agree. New grads are very prone to burnout. What have I been doing? Girl, use your PTO. Girl, make a schedule that you like. I've realized that 3 back-to-backs kill me. I can't do 3 back-to-backs. Like, there's just something about it that my body does not enjoy. So personally, I'm not going to always schedule myself 3 back-to-backs. Maybe there'll be 1 week where I do 3 back-to-backs, but I'm not always going to do that to myself because I don't like it. I do not like it. Also, just like being able to leave things at work, like clock out and do not take stuff home with you. Do not take it home with you. That can be very hard to do sometimes, especially when you have a hard day, especially if you have a hard assignment. It could be really hard to kind of like, not bring it home with you, but being able to have that balance of like acknowledging it, being aware of your emotions, in tune with your feelings, and being able to process it, but not letting it weigh down on you. Enjoying your days off, resting. Girl, if you need a day to rot, just rot. Like, that's okay. That's okay. If you want to go work out, go work out. That's okay. Like, do what's good for you. Do what's best for your mental health, to be honest. Because nursing is hard. Nursing is hard. Whether you've been a nurse for 10 years or you've been a nurse for 6 months, like, you are prone to burning out. Like, it's going to happen one way or another. And like, even if you burn out on the floor that you're on, baby, switch, go somewhere else. Like, nursing has so many opportunities and so many avenues. Like, you are not forced to stay at the job that you're at. If you don't like your job, go somewhere else. Like, you have an RN license. You have so many opportunities. That's what I would say. That's the advice that I would give. How many days a week do I work? So as of right now, as a new grad, I work 3 shifts per week, 3 12-hour shifts, because at my hospital, I'm not allowed to work overtime if I'm on orientation. But as soon as I'm off orientation, like, I could pick up overtime and work 4 shifts a week, 5 shifts a week, 6 shifts a week. But baby, you will never find me doing that. You will never find me doing that. No matter how bad I need a check, I'm not working 6 shifts a week, respectfully. But I would have the opportunity to work overtime if I would like. But as a nurse, you're required to, if you're working full time, you're required to work 36 hours a week, which is 3 12-hour shifts a week. Ooh, this is a good question. What do you feel more comfortable doing now than when you first started? I feel a lot more comfortable administering meds, using IV pumps, having multiple IV pumps. I feel also better with my assessment skills. I'm also better at charting, obviously, because nursing school did not teach anyone how to chart. We were just doing paper care plans. That was a waste of time and I learned absolutely nothing from. But I feel a lot better with charting. I feel a lot better with medication administration, assessment skills. Ooh, another one, talking to doctors. I don't know. I was so scared to pick up the phone and call a doctor. I was like, oh my gosh. I remember my first shift, my preceptor, I forgot what she told me to call them for, but she was like, okay, pick up the phone and call the doctor. I looked at her and I said, call who? She was like, you got it. Just ask them this and this, and that's it. And I was like, okay. I was like, hi, my name is Selena. I'm calling about my patient in bed 5. It's really not that bad. It's really not that bad. Like, it's really not that bad. Like, I was overthinking it, but it's really not that hard. And like, to be honest, like, the most that the doctor is going to say to you is either it's not that big of a deal, or they'll do what they need to do if it's an emergency. You know what I mean? Like, I guess I had like this fear of like, oh, they're gonna think I'm stupid, they're gonna think I'm dumb, they're gonna think like, who is this new grad telling me to do this, like blah blah blah. But it's fine. It's not that serious. Also, like, I was also really nervous during like rounds with the doctors because I was on day shift. Now I'm on night shift, but during day shift, like rounds with the doctors, it feels like you're presenting to like 8 different people. And personally, I do not like public speaking. So I used to always be like, and like stutter and like skip systems and just be like all over the place. But now I feel a lot better with rounds. And my preceptor was able to help me with that. I was able to practice before rounds, and that just helped me get a lot better. So I would definitely say I'm more comfortable doing all those things now that I'm 6 months into being a nurse. Thank you to everyone who submitted a question on Instagram. Sometimes when I post those polls, I'm like, ain't nobody gonna ask me nothing. I'm gonna have to sit here and make up my own questions, which is very humbling. And I've done it before. I'm just gonna be honest. I've done that before. But thankfully I didn't have to do that. Thanks, guys. I hope these questions, like answering these questions, kind of helped y'all. I don't know. I feel like it was also a good session for me to kind of just vent and just talk about this experience, because like there is nothing like being a new grad nurse. There's nothing like it, nothing comparable. And I would definitely say this is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life after graduating nursing school. But yeah, if you are a new grad, I'm rooting for you, girl. You got it, girl. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to switch a job if you don't like the unit you're on. Don't be afraid to get a different job, babes. There is other jobs out there that are hiring. Take advantage of it, okay? You are first a human being before you are a registered nurse. So be kind to yourself. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for listening, even though I was yapping. I love you guys. And remember, Jesus loves you more. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace. Bye.